execute on the things that we have in front of us right now, whether it's a capital program, whether it's technology, whether it's a wide range of things. And I think we need to focus this organization right now on execution and delivery. Second, I think one of the things that came through and has come through in many discussions that I've had is that people are looking for the MTA to demonstrate good value for the taxpayers' money and for the riding public's money. They want to see more productivity coming out of the organization. They want to see the organization adopting what we would consider to be modern work practices, modern ways of doing things, and I certainly hope that we can do that. I do not believe in the challenge that's in front of us right now to look up to Albany over the longer term for continuing support of the MTA and the capital program, which is inevitable, that we can have credibility in that discussion unless we can show value for money for the monies that we are receiving today. And again, I don't mean to take anything away from what the organization has accomplished. We should be proud of it. But we need to demonstrate it at every level of what we're doing, that this is truly a place that is delivering good value for taxpayer money. Third, to pick up on a point that I think comes up in the CBC report and has come up, I'd say actually came up in virtually every hearing that I had when I went through the confirmation process, the question of transparency. People find the MTA to be an opaque organization, which in some ways is amazing because the MTA is putting out phenomenal amounts of information. Now, it's a fairly long plane ride from London to New York, and I've done it a few times over the last months. And on one of those plane rides, I decided to do something that most people would consider to be insane, which is that I took all of the materials that go to the MTA board and brought them on the plane and read them from cover to cover. It was not the most exciting plane ride that I have that I've had. But I was struck in doing that there are certain parts of those materials that you look at that literally have not changed from when I was there. And if anyone here has ever looked at the MTA's so-called Rainbow Book, you will know what I am talking about. And actually, I don't think I changed it when I became the CFO, so we're probably talking about 20 or 25 years that this book has been the same. I went through a funny process. I was watching the MTA board meetings on the web because you can literally log on and watch the meeting. I'm sitting in London, I'm watching the MTA board meeting. And I said, gee, I'd like to get the agenda for what I'm watching. While you can watch the MTA board meeting on the web, you can't actually get the agenda on the web. And the reason you can't get the agenda on the web is I think we literally have someone handwriting all of the documents or something like that. It is just a process that boggles the imagination right now. If we're going to actually build credibility for this organization, we have to find a way of really bringing transparency to what we are doing. And transparency requires us to have information that is relevant, information that is understandable. It requires engagement around that information. It requires some process internally by which we can sustain the production of that information as well. And certainly one of the things I think we have to do right now is concentrate on being able to do it and use it again as a means of building trust with the public, with the elected officials, with civic organizations about what the MTA is trying to do. Now, in that regard, I know that there have been suggestions made in the CBC report about things that we can do. And one of the things that I will tell you is that we will have, for this capital program, a dashboard that will be online that will allow you to look up every single project in the capital program, what we said it was going to cost when it started, what it's costing now, what we said the schedule will be. And if you happen to be wondering if you get off at the 53rd Street station about the capital project and whether or not it's on schedule, you can go in and type in that project and see the answer to whether or not that is on schedule. And we have to have that accountability to the public about the things that we are doing, and there should be no choice about doing that. But finally, I think there's another form of accountability that I'd like to put forth, and that is an accountability for end-to-end service delivery. One of the things that is striking to me, coming from my experience in London, is how much more London is able to get out of its bus system than New York has been able to get out of its bus system. There are literally over twice as many people carried on the bus every single day in London. And in London, the bus is seen as the backbone of the public transit system. We have a tremendous bus system here in New York, but we have concentrated for many years on really three measures of what we're doing. Did we have a bus to get out of the depot? Did it get out of the depot? And did it break down en route? In no way are we actually asking ourselves the question that our customers are actually asking, which is about boarding a bus at a particular place and getting to where they want to go in a reasonable amount of time. And one of the reasons why that has been the case is that there's historically been a separation of the road and the bus, so we hold ourselves accountable for part of this. The City of New York holds themselves accountable for part of it. I think it's time to hold ourselves accountable in a different way. We wouldn't run a rail system by separating the trains and the tracks. It's time to put together the bus and the road. This is not about institutional differences. The city and the MTA are both absolutely committed to the same thing. But we need to start to show customers that we're accountable for the service delivery that they're seeing, not just the question of whether we're pulling a bus out of the depot, not just the question of whether it's clean, not just the question of whether it breaks down. And these are the expectations that customers have that we should, in fact, be rising to meet. We're no longer in the place that we were in 1983 when getting a bus out of the depot was considered to be an achievement. Right? We're not in that place anymore. We have a fleet that is made up largely of clean, well-maintained, air-conditioned buses. Let's hold ourselves accountable to a different standard of service that we can deliver. Let's work to be able to do that. I'm finishing. Let me close with that. I look forward to working with everyone in this room over the coming months and years. Undoubtedly, there will be difficult times that we have to work through. We will have to be creative. We will have to be innovative. We will have to be persuasive. And I don't think there's any way that we will succeed without a real engagement with the civic community of New York. Thank you very much.
Linda, do we have the, is that?
We're going to show it on our laptop, and then I'll have it back here for people to look at.
Okay. So just for one moment, I mentioned the capital program dashboard a moment ago.